I want to make sure that I get this audio in again of Erika Kirk. So I do have that coming up because when I played it in the 5 o'clock hour, of course, a massive reaction. So I'm going to play that again. But first, I want to preface it by some audio from Don Lemon. Now, we all know that old Don is out of a job. And I want to play this as an example of kind of what we're seeing in the media today. By the way, I don't know, you've probably been reporting this, Joan, I don't know, but I just saw on CNN that apparently the suspect has left a note now. So they have found a note, and they're poring over it, I guess, whatever. Oh. So we'll have to find out what exactly it is that he has to say for himself. We covered a lot of the, the suspect, his boyfriend, transgender, and all that other nonsense. There's all kinds of groups in Salt Lake City who are trans groups, if you will. And there's an investigation now into those groups as well as to who knew what, how his radicalization happened. He came from a conservative family, and a lot of people said, oh, look, he's a conservative. No. Actually, his views did not align at all.
His furry boyfriend also from a conservative family.
No kidding.
Yeah. So it's
his furry boyfriend is okay. So his boyfriend, who by the way is said to be cooperating with the investigation.
Right.
So apparently, boyfriend, transgender, and furry.
Yeah.
And we don't mean hairy. We mean like he's one of these people that likes to put on a cat costume.
Yes.
That kind of thing.
And people are still having the audacity to speculate that this is somehow foreign involvement. Some outside actor has contributed to this, which dishonors Charlie's legacy.
Yeah.
Because he was literally murdered for what he stood for.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if you want to, now you're going to go trust the FBI, conservatives, Utah is handling this prosecution. The FBI is not.
And we'll see again what the note has to say. But you're right, Sam. So this is Don Lemon. Just really quickly, I want you to listen, pay particular interest. And by the way, all of our audio today has video component. Watch us on YouTube. So Don Lemon is doing his, Don on the street thing. And he tries to get this woman to blast Charlie Kirk. And then he himself, just through the cadence and the things that he says, actually dishonors the memory of Charlie Kirk. Listen.
What do you think would happen to Charlie Kirk?
It's just messed up. Totally messed up. That was messed up. Like, nobody deserved that. He definitely didn't deserve that. He was a good guy.
You think he was a good guy?
I think he was.
Wow. You think he was a good guy? Don Lemon said, you think he was a good guy? Yeah, Don. There's millions of Americans that believe that Charlie Kirk was a good guy. And so I don't know if Don is being racist, but he's a black man talking to a black woman. And so I don't know if he is trying to somehow shame this woman or that he is surprised because she is a black woman that she has, decent things to say about Charlie Kirk.
It's just misogyny again.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I just love his surprise and how, if you listen close, he's trying to get this woman to say negative things about Charlie Kirk.
He was.
Only Kirk
good morals.
Captain Kirk.
Like, I only know about him with all of us have flaws. I can't really tell you what to believe in or how to feel. Like, everybody's having a human experience. Like, why knock him for having this human experience or what he believe in?
Even though he says things that are anti-women, black, all.
Anti-women, anti-black. When did Charlie Kirk say anything anti-women or anti-black? I would invite anyone to send me a note or send me a video. Don Lemon, please, Don, tell us where Charlie Kirk was anti-woman and anti-black. He wasn't. But see, that's their own twisted ideology. This is the left. This is their own twisted ideology where just because a man is pro-family and pro-Christ, that somehow he is anti-woman, anti-black. I mean, it is so stunning to me, the ignorance of people like Don Lemon.
Even though he says things that are anti-women, black, all that.
I can't judge him for that.
You can't.
I can't judge him for that. But I can use judgment. He didn't deserve that.
My judgment is Don Lemon's an idiot. That's my judgment.
This dude would have never had a career if producers weren't feeding him lines for most of it.
Yeah, probably right.
As a human being.
Yeah,
You are very spiritual.
You know, yeah.
No,
I
you
can't
sound
go
like,
left. I can't go left with that.
No, you sound like, you mean left, going
Yeah,
left,
like,
not left.
because I'm
right.
humanity. I'm humanity and left first.
No, I love that. So the first person I spoke to here didn't want to be on camera, and he said, I can't judge him because I'm not God. And so let him, let whatever the reaction is, if the government wants to give him a state-like funeral, if they let him do it because God is the only judge. And
Yeah, like nobody really can judge him.
Yeah.
And like I kind of like seen him before all of this happened, but I don't see whatever everybody else was seeing. So,
Yeah.
So Don Lemon, disappointed Don, out on the streets of whatever street he was in, and people pointing out on the super text line, I guess, or the YouTube chat.
Yeah, YouTube chat.
His new logo looks like he stole it from Dollar General.
Dollar Don.
Dollar Don. Well, that's all he's worth, to be honest with you. And so whatever. I mean, that was how he chose to do his man on the street interview, trying to convince this woman that Charlie Kirk was anti-black and anti-woman, which is just clearly anti-intelligence. So just so you folks know, I have a bunch of audio from the left and all of the times that they have called Donald Trump a Nazi, got to put a bullet in Donald Trump, all of these things that prove that the Democrats are pro-violence. In my opinion, the Democrat Party is a death cult. I've talked about that many times. But Joan, Sam, a man only has a certain amount of time in Morning Drive to share audio. And today I am trying to share more positive than negative about what is out there today. So that's why instead of, maybe I'll be able to get to it later, but I do want to make sure that I play this audio from Erika Kirk, who gave an incredible, and I mean incredible speech over the weekend. I dare say inspiring.
Charlie always said that when he was gone, he wanted to be remembered for his courage and for his faith. And one of the final conversations that he had on this earth, my husband witnessed for his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Now and for all eternity, he will stand at his Savior's side, wearing the glorious crown of a martyr. Charlie loved life. He loved his life. He loved America. He loved nature, which helped him always bring him closer to God. He loved the Chicago Cubs. And my goodness, did he love the Oregon Ducks. Want me to say go Ducks, so I have to since they play on Saturday. So go Ducks.
By the way, the Ducks did win on Saturday, 34-14. I think it's also great that in NFL stadiums and college football stadiums all across the country, whether they were shown on television or not, there were all kinds of tributes to Charlie Kirk. And we talked about what happened at Yankee Stadium the day after he was murdered. And so I love that. And there were also all across not only our country, but the world, you had tributes to Charlie Kirk. We had, tributes here in Middle Tennessee. I know there was one, I believe, in Mount Juliet, where I live. There was one in Dixon. There was one in Franklin. Pretty much everywhere, I'm sure. There's probably one in Murfreesboro as well. And so I think that the Democrats, I think that they are thunderstruck. They don't know what to do with this outpouring of support for Charlie Kirk. And so for Erika Kirk, she went on to talk about how much he loved his family, how much his family loved him. It really was an inspiring speech, one, again, that I watched, and it was hard to keep a dry eye with this speech. She also spoke about how much she appreciated the support of President Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, and those that followed Charlie Kirk and listened to him.
Charlie always believed that God's design for marriage and the family was absolutely amazing, and it is. It is, and it was the greatest joy of his life. And over, he would tell all these young people to come and find their future spouse, become wives and husbands and parents. And the reason why is because he wanted you all to experience what he had and still has. He wanted everyone to bring heaven into this earth through love and joy that comes from raising a family. It's beautiful. Charlie always said that if he ever ran for office, I know a lot of you asked if he ever was going to, but privately he told me if he ever did run for office that his top priority would be to revive the American family.
I love that. I don't know if there's been a candidate that has come out and had that as a platform, but I think it is a great one. And that's why when you have some people out there within the Republican Party saying, let's give a bigger tax cut for, kids or for families, let's do whatever we can to promote the American family. I mean, I think that is outstanding. And I think I've talked about this for a long time, about how the disintegration of the American family is something that really has led to the disintegration of some segments of our society. And it is incredibly sad. And so one of the things that I watched over the weekend were all the stories about how many Americans responded to her speech. Her speech, as you can hear, it was about greatness. It was about compassion, communication, love, and hope. And I'm going to give you one example. She had a clothing line. We talked about this in the 5. She's got a clothing line, and it is called Proclaim. And I'm going to tell you that if you go to their website, you will see that almost every single item is now sold out. Incredible.
The evildoers responsible for my husband's assassination have no idea what they have done.
It's true.
They killed Charlie because he preached a message of patriotism, faith, and of God's merciful love. They should all know this. If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country.
True.
And this world. You have no idea. You have no idea the fire that you have ignited within this wife. The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry. To everyone listening tonight across America, the movement my husband built will not die. It won't. I refuse to let that happen. It will not die. All of us will refuse to let that happen. No one will ever forget my husband's name, and I will make sure of it.
We are playing selected audio and video from Erika Kirk's speech on over the weekend, Friday night. And I got to tell you, she's right. I mean, you called it earlier, Joan. You'd said that this was the cry heard around the world.
The battle cry.
Heard around the world.
That statement. Absolutely.
By the way, Joan,
Yes.
guess who I'm going to talk to tomorrow?
Who?
Bill O'Reilly.
What?
Yeah. Now, he's an old friend of the show.
Okay.
I know him as Bill, and he knows me as some nobody out in Tennessee. But he's got a new book out, and it's a great book. So we're going to talk to Bill O'Reilly about that tomorrow morning. So really looking forward to that. It's going to be at 8:35. So but I'm going to ask him about the Charlie Kirk assassination and all of that. But
I hope so.
Always love talking to Bill O'Reilly. He got mad at me one time. This was before your time, but he got mad at me because I said in an interview that he was a conservative, and he got mad at me about that.
So, what does he consider himself?
You know what? I think he took umbrage to the fact that I called him a conservative, and it was a fair point. This was before the days of being well-danned, but he didn't consider himself a conservative. He considered himself an issue-by-issue kind of guy. And he talked about the times that he disagreed with Donald Trump as well. And whatever. you know what?
Yeah.
I'm just appreciative that he comes on and he talks about, his latest books. And he's got a new one coming out. And I have not read it yet. I had another week because I pride myself on actually reading the books.
Yeah.
But I just heard from them, and they moved it up a week. So now I've got to cram the book. But that's going to be tomorrow at 8:35 here at Nashville's Morning News. It's the only time that I could get, so it's going to interfere with the crisscross handoff. But yeah. But anyway, so looking forward to talking to Bill O'Reilly tomorrow at 8:35 on Super Talk 99.7. I want to play one more audio bite from Erika Kirk. And to me, this was as a guy with, a couple of kids and as a guy who now has a 1-year-old grandson, boy, Joan, I saw him over the weekend, and he is running all over the place. Oh, my goodness gracious. So this particular soundbite from Erika Kirk was particularly poignant and particularly heartbreaking. Listen.
But most important of all, if you aren't a member of a church, I beg you to join one. A Bible-believing church. Our battle is not simply a political one. Above all, it is spiritual. It is spiritual. The spiritual warfare is palpable. When I got home last night, Gigi, our daughter, just ran into my arms. And I talked to her and she said, Mommy, I missed you. I said, I missed you too, baby. She goes, where's Daddy? What do you tell a 3-year-old? She's 3. I said, baby, Daddy loves you so much. Don't you worry. He's on a work trip with Jesus so he can afford your blueberry budget.
Whoo, boy. I mean, I was talking about this in the 5 o'clock hour. Amy and I were watching this.
Blubbering like I was.
Oh, man.
Ugh.
It was rough.
Yeah.
It was rough. But we asked the Daily Dan poll, have you seen more people going to church last weekend? Because, we're talking about how there are so many people that are reconnecting. We're talking to John Rich earlier about this, about how people are reconnecting with their faith or they're connecting for the first time. And so that was our Daily Dan poll. What are people saying on YouTube?
So we are still sitting at that 72% yes, they have seen more people in church over the weekend, 28% no.
By the way, America Fest will go on, including a stop at Utah State on September 30th and in Phoenix in December. So I wonder, how do you say this? So does that mean who's going to talk to the college students the way that Charlie was? You can't, I'm trying to figure out the right way to say this. You cannot replace Charlie Kirk. Obviously, you cannot replace Charlie Kirk. But who is going to take that role of challenging these college kids? I know that Ben Shapiro is, one of those people that is able to do, but he's like Daily Wire. So they're figuring all that out now. What I really liked is that Erika says that Turning Point, not only will they continue, but they are coming back stronger than ever.
Yeah, someone's got to step up and pinch hit the best they can to fill shoes like that. It's going to be difficult, but I think we're going to see in the long run the flourishing of it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, in the years to come, absolutely. By the way, I guess it's going to be his official funeral is going to be September 21st at State Farm Stadium in Phoenix, Arizona. This is where they play professional football. So the facility of the stadium holds 63,400 people. By the way, I don't want to politicize, his death, but I mean, this headline did scream at me. Headline, this is from the Sacramento Bee. Democratic voter registration suffers major blow. Now, this is just the Democrats overall. This has nothing to do with Charlie Kirk. But an NBC News analysis has now revealed, this came out over the weekend, that Democratic voter registration dropped by 1.3 percentage points from 2024 to 2025, now standing at 37%. Now, this jives with other things that we've seen. where the Democrats, they're just circling the drain. There's no other way to say this. And this was before Charlie Kirk's murder. This is before it. And I can almost guarantee you that we are going to see a massive surge in conservatism. Somebody sent me a note from TikTok, and I'm posting stuff on TikTok now and all the socials. And somebody sent me a note on TikTok, and he said that he has noticed several TikTok, anti-Trumpers who have suddenly changed their tune. And we talked about this on Friday, where you have some of these folks who are looking at the behavior of the people on the left as this celebration of Charlie Kirk's demise, his murder, continues. And it is so incredibly off-putting. And just so you folks know, I know. There's there's like tens of thousands of people that are online. I could spend my entire 4-hour program talking about the bad guys online and what they're saying. But you know what? I have a choice between playing the great audio of Erika Kirk and conservatives and what is going on with that movement, and I choose to highlight that as opposed to the morons. And God is going to sort out the morons. I truly believe that God is going to sort them out. One of the things that I said on social media this morning is just broad brush. A lot of these people are ugly. And I'm just going to say it, ugly. They're ugly inside and out.
I think it's because the demonic nature of their ideology has convinced them to do things that detract from the beauty that God gave them.
Absolutely.
Both internally and externally, with those ugly haircuts, the nose rings, the dye in your hair, the weird color.
All of it. Absolutely all of it. And so now what's happening, and we spoke about this earlier, where you have our friend Robbie Starbuck and others, libs of TikTok ladies as well, and they are exposing all of those people. And they're saying, basically, meet this person, they work at this place, and this is the email address, and this is what that person said. And I played a piece of audio earlier where somebody is saying, oh, isn't this going too far? And it's like, no, it's not going too far. Number one, the left, they're the first ones to go after conservatives with cancel culture. That's number one. Number two isn't that what these people want? Isn't this what the people want when they post these things about celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder? They want attention, do they not? So all Robbie Starbuck and others are doing is, as they hunt the, I said earlier today, off the air, they're basically hunting the a-holes. That's what they're doing.
The lunatics.
Hunting the lunatics. I think what I said, I'm only going to say it once, but I think there's more of a ring to it. But anyway, hunting the lunatics, that's fine. And if they want attention, all Robbie's doing, and the libs of TikTok folks, is they are giving them the attention that they so readily crave. Speaking of attention-craving morons, did you hear what Justin Pearson said? Oh, that audio straight ahead. So Justin Pearson was on MSNBC with the equally as reprehensible Nicole Wallace. The only good thing about Nicole Wallace is her hair. That's the only good thing about Nicole Wallace. Anyway, she had Justin Pearson on, and this is part of what transpired.
Pearson, your reaction.
Donald Trump sending the National Guard, Bill Lee sending in additional law enforcement into the city of Memphis.
Yep. I mean, look, we do not want to see our community being occupied by the military, and we don't want to see over-policing. The solution to the problems that...
Can I ask a question? Does he appreciate over-murdering? Because that's what's happening in Memphis, right? Yeah. So his big concern is over-policing. My big concern is over-murdering, because that's what's happening. Now, coming up, we do have, at 8:05, State Senator Brent Taylor, and he is the state senator that his district is over the Shelby County, city of Memphis.
Being articulated is not to increase the number of police, it's to increase the number of resources to actually reduce poverty, to actually educate our population, our children, for the opportunities of the future.
Poverty and all that.
Have a living wage so that some of the crimes literally for the need to survive do not happen. We know that gun violence is one of the most significant issues and epidemics in our country.
Do you know what's so funny? I think somebody else said this too. But, you know, whenever I go to the Glock store, they've got like hundreds of guns. Not one of them by itself loads itself and shoots itself. Not one of them. You ever notice that? Sam, you're a big shooter. You ever see Joan, you've shot too, right?
Oh, yeah.
You ever seen a gun just magically jump off the shelf and load itself and shoot itself?
Never.
I have never in my life seen that. Have you?
No.
No one? Okay.
Nope. I saw a thing this weekend. A guy, was something posted online. Guy said he took a shotgun and he put it on the deck along with his ammunition, just left it there, and all day long, you know, the mailman came and
neighbor kids came along.
Right, and there was an Amazon driver, and at the end of the day, like, wow, nobody was killed. Like,
the
crazy.
gun didn't just load itself. He left a couple of shotgun shells right next to it.
Yeah.
And it didn't load itself and shoot itself.
He said he was going to go check his spoons next to see if they were making people fat.
Oh, my goodness.
Here's more from Justin Pearson.
I got expelled because of it. Right? Children under 18 are most likely to die from a bullet than cancer or car accidents. That means laws have to change at the state level. That Governor Bill Lee, Speaker Sexton, Lieutenant Governor Rand McNally need to work on to reduce the amount of access people have to firearms, and that reduces ultimately the amount of crimes that get committed. But you can't pass laws that say, hey, it's okay for you to have guns in your car, and then you complain about people breaking into cars for the firearms that they find there. We have to deal with the systemic root causes of the problems, and Black communities should not be the place and the pawns for an authoritarian, wannabe dictator, white supremacist game.
You know what we need? Do you remember how Brian Wilson used to have the ding? Like, he'd have the ding. We should have a ding for every time people like Justin Pearson, Justin Jones, Gloria, whatever heck her name was. We should have a ding for every time they go through their talking points. You know what I mean? Where he's talking about, you know, Donald Trump, authoritarian, and all the other talking points where it is just, I mean, honest to goodness, obviously it gets very old. And they're not willing to look at what is actually causing those crimes. You know what was interesting, too? In Washington, D.C., did you notice that no guns, as the National Guard is there, no guns just magically come out onto their porch and start shooting themselves? And all of the guns that the National Guard had or the law enforcement had there, they didn't magically start shooting themselves either. That's what we need. Here, let me. I'm going to rewind this. Let's just see how this sounds. So he's going to give a whole bunch of talking point platitudes. Sam, every time he does one, I need you to ding the bell for this dingbat, Justin Pearson.
That reduces ultimately the amount of crimes that get committed. But you can't pass laws that say, hey, it's okay for you to have guns in your car, and then you complain about people breaking into cars for the firearms that they find there. We have to deal with the systemic root causes of the problems, and Black communities should not be the place and the pawns for an authoritarian, wannabe dictator, white supremacist game. And that's what we're finding right now with Donald Trump and Bill Lee. And so our resistance has to be vocal, it has to be clear, it has to be coordinated, and it has to show people that we are serious about defending our democracy. These are not benign acts.
Now, you know, my question is, so when he says that, like, he's talking about the resistance, what does he mean by that? Is he calling for violence?
Yes.
Is that what he's doing?
He just called authoritarian fascist dictators to our governor and our president.
So if you are somebody who's deranged or has a death wish, then you are, or has a jail wish, well, then what you're doing, if you're Justin Pearson, it sounds to me like it's a call to arms. That's what it sounds like to me. I'm going to play that for Brent Taylor, the state senator out that way, and see what he has to think about that. But let me play the rest of this.
They are all intentional in an effort to let us be lulled to sleep as our country moves from a democracy into an authoritarian dictatorship. This man cares only about his power, keeping it at all costs, and running through any community and hurting all the people as he does it.
So can somebody tell me what what has happened in Washington, D.C.? Fewer black people have been killed. I know the Murphy Show is trying to get this guy on, Justin Pearson. Now, Joan, Sam, I don't know what his favorite charity is, but I mean, we ought to, you know what we ought to do? We ought to like GoFundMe a thing for his favorite charity and raise money so that he'll come on the Murphy Show. You know what I mean? Although best way to put this, I shudder to think what charities he supports.
Oh, yeah.
And where the money actually ends up.
And where the money would actually end up. You know what? Maybe what we do is we say, all right, you know what? We'll give X number of dollars to the Nashville Rescue Mission or the charity of your choice. But we give it to see if he would come on the Murphy Show. But you know what the thing is? Like, all he is able to do, all Justin Pearson is able to do is talk about platitudes and talking points, as indicated by the bell. That bell right there. We must have hit the bell, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times in just a 60, 75-second period. So I would dare Justin Pearson to come on WTN. He won't.
In D.C., they brought the National Guard, but you know also who came? ICE. We are going to see this repeating over and over again, the terrorism of our communities.
Wow, can you imagine the terrorism? I don't know when this was. I think it was over the weekend. But can you imagine this jackhole talking about terrorism, invoking terrorism a couple of days after 9/11?
And the
assassination of Charlie Kirk.
It's just it's mind-boggling, and it's because I don't think he's ever had to actually debate anybody with his ideas. No. He just loves to use those emotional trigger words to get people riled up.
Oh yeah, absolutely.